Uh, Good morning. At 6:43 this morning, we did get a call for a fire at the recycling plant behind us, metal scrapyard. At 6:49, our deputy chiefs increased it to more resources, which right now we have a total of 26 units, which is equivalent to 60 firefighters. Along with that, we do have our hazmat specialty teams, TCQs on site, as well as the health department monitoring the area to ensure there is no environmental or air quality impacts. As of right now, we're not getting those indications, but as always, we continue to monitor the situation. The fire's still under investigation, and as you can see, we're still doing mediation on that fire. But if we have any other questions, I got our chiefs here that could answer those things.
Metal, but can you tell us exactly what is burning here?
Right now, it's the metal that we have. And I understand there might have been some other type of debris that usually comes in with the metal, but it's primarily a metal scrapyard.
I saw some firefighters working over here, kind of chipping away at some of the dirt. There's a lot of water in the road. Can you kind of tell us what?
Yeah, and that's our area to prevent any runoff. And as I mentioned, we have our hazmat specialists here, and that's what we do to prevent any further damage to the water quality. But right now, it's all under control.
All that water's, I'm assuming, leaking from a hydrant.
Yeah, no, from our fire hose, from our water, from the fires being extinguished. Is that correct, Chief?
Yes, sir. It's got about 6,000 gallons a minute.
From the water on the pile.
What's that?
It's runoff from water on the pile. I got you.
6,000 gallons per minute.
Can you tell me a little bit about that excavator? I've been noticing it as the water is working on, where all that metal is. It looks like that excavator is taking out big pieces.
And that is to get to the seat of the fire to ensure that it's all fully extinguished. So moving it out of the way, putting the water on it, so make sure everything's extinguished.
What kind of difficulties are you all running into out here? I mean, it's a hot day. I'm sure all that metal is dry.
It is, and I'll let Chief Garcia or the two deputies, but for me, I can assure you that it is the difficulties, obviously the heat always for our firefighters, ensure their safety, but it's just the heavy movement of the metal. That's one of the difficulties. We had no issues with the water supplies. As Deputy Chief Garcia mentioned, 6,000 gallons a minute, so that's all been established, so that's probably the biggest difficulty that we're finding. Anything else?
Chief, I want to ask you again, you mentioned that the metal that was burning, this is over 3 hours now.
So we're finding hotspot, as we mentioned, using the excavator to remove those hotspots. Think about it as a charcoal pit, right? At the very bottom, once you add air, it lights up, so that's what we're doing, getting the hotspots out of the way.
Is there any indication where the source of the fire may be?
Right now, that's still under investigation.
We did get some reports
You did get some, Chief?
that started at the top.
At the stop? Yeah.
And then they tried to put it out.
Yeah. And
So
that's
I guess
what,
maybe for it to explain it, I know we don't see this type of fires all the time, but people may be wondering, with metal, what causes the metal to burn and why?
could be a
These
lot.
type
I
of things
mean,
might
go ahead, Chief, but this was the Chief.
Hello, I'm Isaac Garcia. So we did get some reports. There is some video that they saw that it started at the top of the pile. Recycling plants, they have to, break up the metal. Sometimes there's mixed fuels associated with the metal. Whatever life this metal had before it came here, might still be. There might be some residual fuel. So when they're breaking up the metal, or they're moving it, or their cranes are working, sometimes that initiates a spark. I'm not saying that that's what happened here, but there were reports that it started at the top of the pile. We're getting reports that they attempted to snuff it out, and then they called us. So right now, what's burning is deep seated. So we got to get out, find out what fuel's down there. That's why we're worried about the runoff, the fuel, and the air quality, because we really don't know what residual fuel is really pumping this fire. Obviously, metal doesn't always, burn, but something is there that's kind of stimulating that. So once we kind of peel it off, we can get water there, cool down the metal, cool down the fuel, and what we see right now is a great change. We saw a huge plume about 2 hours ago. It's substantially better at this point. Our biggest issue right now is making sure we're not getting unnecessary runoff to the public, to the bayous, to our drainages, and we want to make sure that we test that quality of the water and the air. So far, we've got neutral pH, which is good, and we've checked with our hazmat, our technical specialists, and they've also saying that right now it looks good. But what initiated it, we won't know until we look at the video. Arson's going to pull that videotape, and then we can go from there. This happens occasionally at these recycling plants. But right now, with this many people in the heat, we got cooling buses, we got Metro, we got rehab. We're going to trying to make sure our guys stay hydrated and stay cool, because we're going to might be here for a while. And unfortunately, we'd like to turn this over to the company owner once we know that we have actually reduced the profile, the risk profile. We'd like to turn it over to the owner, but we're not there yet.
Okay, that was my next question. How long do you think you all will be out here?
I think by the indication we talked to, and we got Chief Corso here, we're looking at about 5 o'clock. We're giving him that deadline to try to get the contractor in place.
Can you say that one more time?
5 o'clock, that's about the time frame we're looking at to make sure we give him a time frame to start getting that contractor ready so we could relieve our crews.
Yeah, we just don't want it to flare up again.
Yeah, that's the main thing. We do not want it to flare up.
Speaking of that, when it's hot spots, I know whether it's a brush fire, apartment, or home fire, hot spots are always tricky because that can, cause the
Rekindle.
fire to restart. Is there any big difference when it comes to especially heavy, metal that's there, or is it about the same thing as if it was a hot spot in a different function?
Well, as Chief mentioned, it's deep-seated, right? Along with the weight of the material on top. And it varies on what the material would be, right? But as Chief Garcia mentioned, it's that heat spot that we have to excavate everything to ensure that we get to it.
So it's basically metals and some other chemicals?
Residual fuels.
It's what would be on those metals in real life. If it was a refrigerator, it would be the materials inside of a refrigerator.
Yeah, or whatever, as Chief Garcia mentioned, anything that might have gone with it, right? So
Are you all battling against the heat, or does the heat not play really?
it's the environmental heat. Yeah, I mean both.
It's an exposure for sure.
It's an exposure for
What
us.
should people and the community really know about this? Because I saw, a couple people stopping their trucks, coming up there. Obviously, you guys are busy trying to contain this thing.
Yeah, our PIO is putting out some messages, just letting them know that we're aware of it and monitoring everything. Just let them know what we're doing.
So that is an issue that you're looking to address. Make sure the community's not.
Oh yeah, we always do address it. We work with our Office of Emergency Management to make sure, and along with our health department, so we do the messaging together.
Well, I already know you're already talking in Spanish, but can you talk a little bit about the manpower it takes to get this down? And also, do you have any message for the community, for all the people who live around this area?
Right now, as we mentioned, when Chief Garcia got here, they did elevate it, and we do have 26 units out here at its peak, which was a total of 60 members, and those 60 members included our hazmat teams that were monitoring the area, and then the external agencies, which were TCEQ, came to help out, as well as the health department, to monitor the area to ensure the air quality along with the runoff quality.
But so far, there's no concerns in regards of the air
Right
quality.
now, no, we're still monitoring, but everything seems to be under control.
Everyone's okay, right?
Everyone's okay, yes.
No injuries.
No injuries.
The last question that I have is, I know you were mentioning that, recycling fires, it happens from time to time. What particularly, other than, the fire getting nestled in the metal, makes this particularly unique?
The metal
This
and
is
the
kind
weight.
of common for recycling plants lately. Is that
It is.
when they break it down, they have to use special tools. And those special tools. Sorry,
Yeah.
I apologize. So we're seeing this happen more and more often as they break down. These metals had a former life. They were functioning in something. So when they break it down and recycle, they have to cut. They have to use special tools, power tools. And when they do that, there's that risk. And they're supposed to have something on standby to actually put out, incidental fires. But in this particular case, as we see, it's happening more and more often in these recycling plants, where they break it down and a small fire starts, and then it turns into a big fire. So this is the second one we've seen in the last month, maybe the third. And as far as the community is concerned, we're always trying to make sure that nothing goes over into the community. That was one of the first things that we saw. I failed to mention that the drones were instrumental today. So the fire department has access to drone footage that we have and we deploy. We're able to get a good size up and be able to see where this fire was going, where it stays, and where that particular hot spots. It has infrared information, and infrared information tells us where to target, like a surgical application of our resources. So that was very helpful. And we knew right away that it wasn't likely going to get into the neighborhood, then we just keep doing what we do. So it kind of steers tactics also. So right now, we're just taking our time, peeling it away, putting water where it needs to be.
So is that kind of like the point person in terms of how you all are, trying to figure out which direction you're going is the information that you guys got from the drone?
Well, we don't rely only on the drone. Chief Flanagan did a great job in establishing his incident command. He established the right groups. That's their bread and butter. We use all kinds of tools and resources like drone footage, video footage, audio, anything we can to help develop our strategies and pivot where we need to.
Thank you. I'll say good. Appreciate you guys.